8 secret steps to create high converting CTA buttons. Now this is part 1 of 2, so you're going to want to watch this and then go to video 2, which I'll have a link below in. Hey, CTA buttons. At the end of this series, there's 2 videos. You're going to be well versed in CTA buttons, but more importantly, you're going to be able to create CTA buttons that get real results. And I tell you, you've probably heard it over and over again, but CTA buttons are incredibly important. And the reason you've probably heard it over and over and over again is because they're so very important. So if you keep hearing this, you might as well learn how to do good ones, right? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you examples of bad ones and good ones, so you know exactly what to do. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that subscribe button down there, turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every single time I go live. Now I want to first talk about CTA buttons, what they are and what they're not. They're not a link, they're not a GIF, they're not artwork, they're none of those things. They're buttons, and understand that and you'll do fine. But if you try to make it into something else, it could really hurt your conversions. Now I've already said how important CTA buttons are, but if it's the only thing your website's got going for it or your landing page has got going for it, then it's not going to be that helpful. But if you've got all your other components, all your other information on the page and all your bullet points, and you've got a great headline and all that, then your CTA button can work wonders for you. Now let's talk about what a CTA button is, now that we know what it isn't. A CTA button is nothing more than some text with maybe a little artwork, maybe a box or something like that around it. And the purpose of a CTA button is to bridge the gap between their interest in your page or your company or your brand and getting some higher value, going further into the funnel of purchase. So that's why it's so important. Now why is it so important that we improve our CTA buttons? Well, a CTA button is something that you want somebody to do, and some small tweaks to it can really have enormous results on your bottom line, on your signups, on your opt-ins, whatever it is you're trying to do. So first off, let's take a look at one by Optimizely and kind of see what they've done. As you can see, the highlighted button is just a typical example of a call to action button you'd see on a normal landing page. It has some copy around it. It's got a place for the visitor to input some information. You can't get more basic than that. So I want to give you some advice that makes it extraordinary, and to do that we want to evoke emotion in our audience. According to marketing experiments, consumers go through a 6-step process before clicking a CTA on an email or a landing page. Let's take a look at each one of them. The first one, arrest attention. So we want to have attention. Number 2, build connection. Number 3, build problem. Number 4, build interest. Number 5, build suspense. And number 6, transfer momentum. Those are the 6 steps they go through. Now like I said earlier in this video, don't try to make a CTA button something it is not. Okay, so we want to stick with real basic things here. We want to have that call to action on the button to let them know what's going to happen when they click that button, and we don't want to try to make it into something it's not. We do have some basic characteristics though of all good CTA buttons. Generally on the page they have a different shape and border than what's going on that page. In addition to that, they're going to have a different color than what else is on that page too. We don't want it to blend in. You don't want to use that color anyplace else on the page. And of course they're going to have text on them explaining what happens when you click that button. Now some main characteristics is they don't have to be rectangles, but they normally are. They could have rounded corners and you may change them up a little bit, but I want you to keep in mind the brain, the human brain, likes familiarity. So if there's a certain type of button on a lot of websites and they see it, they understand it, and they're going to probably move forward. If you make yours really different from everybody else's, it may confuse the brain a little bit and they may not click. Now don't play around with this too much. You want to make it really easy for the visitor on your site to find the button and to understand what's going to happen when they click on a button. Once again, our brain craves familiarity, and if you make it difficult for them to find that button, well, you're going to lose all those conversions, you're going to lose all those clicks. So don't make it too tiny to where they've got to search for it. Buttons should be big. and I don't know if there's a maximum size for that, but a big button, they seem to work better. Let's take a look at a opt-in from Optimizely and kind of see what they're doing. Okay, so it says here the #1 landing page conversion software. Is it wildly original? Well, no, but it is clear what they want the users to do. They want them to click. Yes. At this point, buttons are so established as an element of design that when you don't use them, you risk confusing your visitors. For example, let's take a look at an agency's landing page and pay-per-click for a PPC ad targeting the keyword social media services. This is a tough one right here, isn't it? Now put yourself in the mindset of a business owner looking for social media management services. Let's say you already know you want to hire an agency to run your Facebook account, and you're at the point where you're evaluating different options. Where would you click on this page? How would you get in touch with somebody to learn more about the services? There is no right or wrong answer to this question because there's no obvious button on the page. In fact, it feels less like a landing page than it does a mashup of just general content. It's not good. Okay, let's take a look at another example here. It's safe to assume that since they're using this as a PPC landing page, they want to drive conversions, but what kind of conversions are they aiming for here? The answer is really ambiguous because the page doesn't even contain a single button. So if your landing pages look like either of these examples, you got some work to do. Your visitors need buttons. Now let's take a look at an example from Constant Contact, and understand Constant Contact needs people to opt in. They need them to create accounts. Let's take a look at their page. Here we go. The button is big, okay, and it's blue, and it's very clearly a button. There's no room for confusion as to how to take action or what exactly that action is. The landing page from GetResponse, I'm gonna put that up right now, is kind of similar, and it says the giant try it free button attracts attention and tells users what to do as soon as they land on the page. They have a compelling copy. Now let's take a look at some more effective CTA button examples. Now keep in mind, on your web page, it's expensive real estate, okay? So you don't have time to beat around the bush. You need to get to the point. Let's take a look at a button that's on Hootsuite's account and see what they're doing. Now this button here is a great site and a great example of a straightforward action-oriented approach. What would you expect to happen if you clicked on the button? The answer is obvious. You'd be taken to a page with information about companies' business plans. So if you were a potential customer who wanted to learn more about what that company had to offer, clicking this button would be a clear choice to accomplish that goal. If the copy surrounding your button includes directives, however, you can also get away with more concise copy on the button itself. So an example may be do it. You may put do it on the button if everything around it already explains where they're going and what's going to happen. Now according to Wishpond, there's a few words that you can put on your button that really work very well. Start, stop, build, join, learn, discover. All of these are action words that make people click. Now the third thing I want to talk about is Fitts law. What is Fitts law? Fitts law says that the further away something is, the smaller it is, and the closer it is, the bigger it seems, and our eyes get drawn to those objects. So how would that work on a web page? Let's look at this one web page here and see how that works out. Okay, so this page here, the basic idea is that you need to place your CTA buttons in the direction path of your users. This is an essential part of user design, but it's also important to consider when placing CTA buttons on your page. For example, let's say you arrive on the page in this screenshot right here, and your attention is immediately drawn to the company's logo. From there, it's easy to move to the page target CTA. They make it super simple. The basic idea here is that you need to place your CTA buttons in the direct path of your users. Now let's take a look at another simple example. In this case here, I've added the arrow to draw your attention to the fact that the sidebar tracks a user's read path from top to bottom, culminating in the CTA button at the what? At the bottom. This is a logical placement for the button because it's in the direct path that a user would follow while consuming the page's content. So as you determine where to place your buttons, keep in mind that your readers will follow a normal path that almost every single reader is going to do. Here's another one here that has logical placement, right? It's a loan calculator where you put in your information and you click calculate. That's a logical placement right there. Number 4 is the best converting buttons have a contrasting color, which means it's different from everything on the page. Now some marketers will spend days and weeks and months trying to research what exact color to put on that button, and that's not necessary. What's necessary is that it's a contrasting color. Let's take a look at one from Crazy Egg real quick. Now what's the first thing you notice when you look at the body? You're going to notice the bright yellow button. It's extremely eye-catching because it's different from everything else, so that's important. You can never do this effectively with buttons if you don't have a contrasting color. So those are the first 4 elements of creating more effective buttons, and I want to give you the other 4. That's going to be in video 2. That's part 2 of 2. You'll see a link down in the description where you can click on it and go to that video. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, put some comments in there, give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, and also subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, turn it from red to gray. If it's red right now, it's warning you, it's saying you need to subscribe, and once you've done that, a bell is going to pop up magically right next to it, and you'll want to click that bell. Turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every single time I go live. I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you over in video 2. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that little bell right there so you can be notified every time I do a new video. Also, click on one of those videos there. Keep watching on my channel.